What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the series of trying to fix this box of broken action figures that I bought for $700. Today we're taking a look at some Justice League figures from Mafex. A little update about the figures I sold. I sold Huntress for $75 and Nightwing for $80. Probably could have got more for Nightwing, but I'm just ready to get these out of here. There's a ton of boxes around me. First, we're going to take a look at this black suit Superman. He doesn't come with much. I think you're supposed to buy the regular version with him, so you have all the accessories, but he's still a pretty nice figure, and he feels brand new out of the box. So I'm just going through the articulation here real quick to make sure nothing's really messed up. If you want to buy this guy, I wanted to make it as clear as possible that everything's fixed on this guy once I start selling him. As you can see, the articulation's messing up on this right elbow. It's not fully bending. It's supposed to go up higher. And so I think that maybe some glue may have seeped into somewhere it's not supposed to. Luckily, it's still bending, so I know that glue is not on the part that bends, but just maybe the bicep is probably attached to that joint. Everything else on this guy looks good. I think I'm just gonna need to take apart the arm to see if there's any glue up there I'm gonna need to remove. So we're gonna start by heating up some water, put it in the microwave for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I removed his arm from his body so I don't have to heat up the whole thing. So I'm just gonna drop this in for about 30 seconds to a minute, just to heat everything up so it's safe to pull apart. I used some pliers here. Don't use pliers, but this is the only thing I had on hand right now. But I was really careful not to scratch anything up. So the elbow was not coming out still, but the lower arm popped off, so I decided to just go ahead and heat it up again, and maybe I'll have more area to grab without everything falling apart in my hands. So I wiped this off again, and then I started by trying to push the peg through, and that wasn't really doing anything, so I just started twisting to try to get it to pop loose. And finally it did, and you can see already this side's good. I don't see any glue there, but then on the other side you can see where it's kind of rough where the glue had been. So it looks like glue did somehow seep down in here. I don't know if the bicep's even glued. I don't know where the glue came from, but it seeped down in there and it stuck the bicep to the left side of that peg. Luckily though, that's not the part that moved, so this is an easy fix. As soon as I got it loose, it was ready to go back together. So I just put the bicep back on. You can see it's a really long peg that goes through the bicep into the shoulder. So I popped on this lower arm and we gave it a little test. And that's already way better. You can see it's above 90 now, or 45, 90, whatever you want to say. It's above where it's back to where it's supposed to be. And so I just popped it back on the shoulder, and you can see he goes all the way up now. So he's fixed after this. Everything else worked fine, and this was the only issue. And it was a pretty simple fix for this part. You can get him in all of your poses now, your punching poses. This is an easy one to start off, so I just decided to start the video with this one. And I'm gonna put him back in the box. I'll let him dry for a while too. I don't want water getting trapped inside this package, so put him back in the box and he's ready to go on eBay. If you go check right now, he's already on there. Should be Looper Ward on eBay, all lowercase. So that's one done, 2 more to go. Next up we got Batfleck, or Batman from Justice League. This is the money maker. This is the reason I bought the whole box. He's going for like between $200 and $300 on eBay, and I can kind of understand why. I mean, if you want to collect all of the like modern Batman, you got Bale, you got Batfleck, and then you got Pattinson. What do they say? Pattinson. So you definitely want this guy, and this is the newest version they made. And I don't know if they're gonna come back and make another one. I guess they could for Flash, but this guy looked good. He had all of his accessories, and he feels a little loose, but he's an older figure, so that kind of plays out. But you can already see what's wrong with this guy. I don't think they just never added any glue in there. That shoulder is supposed to be glued onto there, and I guess they just missed that in the factory. But everything else on this guy is working good. That arm just kept popping off, so I laid it to the side. Legs, everything felt good, and he stood up pretty well. But I was really careful with this guy, because this is the one that's going to get me my most money back for this whole package. So I went through the articulation pretty easy here. So we're just going to do the simple super glue trick. I know where it needs to go. It's pretty simple here. I don't know why somebody would return this. I guess this is an old return, because I wouldn't return a $300 figure if it just had an arm. I don't know. Not judging anybody. Some people don't want to work on their figures, and I can understand that. But just put a little glue on the peg here. And I was really careful here not to get too much on there. But I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard to mess it up, because you're not going to see any of that. So I popped it back in there until it felt like it was in place and held it for a little while. And then this is after like 30 seconds of holding it. I'm gonna go ahead and set him down and let him relax, and be really careful with this guy so it doesn't break or anything. Yep, perfect. And here he is after I put the hand back on. The arm is dried for 10-15 minutes, and it's good as new. You'll never even know that I glued it there if I hadn't told you. It works just the same as the other ones, so I don't think this is any problem at all. Just going through some articulation here just to make sure I didn't mess anything up. And pretty excited this one turned out so easy. I was really worried about this one. So get him back in the package, and he's all done and ready to put on eBay. I don't know what to price this guy at. Maybe I'll do an auction. I don't know. I threw him up pretty high. Next up is Cyborg from Justice League. And spoiler here, but I hate this. And this went really bad. It went good and then it went bad. But let's just get through it. All of his accessories are there. His hands are jarred loose, but they're all there. And I checked everything up close, and everything looked fine. Nothing broken. I didn't initially know what was wrong with him, and he looked fine. But once I got him out of the package, it took me a while to like scan through him to try to figure out what's wrong. This guy is so complicated. There's so many little parts and pieces, and he feels so weird. I don't know if you've never held this guy. He has die-cast parts. So some parts of him are really heavy and some aren't. Oh yeah, the knee's broken, by the way. This little tiny piece broke off the knee, and I did not know how I was about to get that back on. But he's kind of die cast, but at the same time, they have like cheap plastic, it feels like, holding him together. So it just doesn't really go together. Like he moves so weird, and also these little hoses all over his body aren't attached anywhere. So you have to keep sliding them back into their slots. And so that was a constant issue. Just I would bend the elbow and the hose would be loose, or I'd bend the knee and the hose would be loose. But you see his legs, it's like his feet are die cast, or like his lower legs. So they don't want to stay to the side at all. But all the articulation worked. I scanned him really closely and nothing else seemed broken. It was just that piece of the knee that was off. So I got all the hoses out of there. So you can see they're not glued down. They're glued to the top but not the bottom, so you can just pull them out. And I was trying to figure out how I was gonna get this knee in there. Part of me just wanted to, there's 2 pegs on either side, or 1 peg on either side, and then there's holes on the knee joint there. And so part of me just wanted to cut the pegs off and glue it down in there, but I decided against that. I wanted to fix this guy right if I was gonna fix him. So the hip had like a cover piece on it, and I put that back on, and then I heated this up and I popped it loose. It's just glued onto the knee like that. So I popped that loose, and then I was trying to figure out how this is put together. This is just overly complicated for no reason. I hate this. I hate this guy. It looks really nice though, so it'd probably be cool on your shelf, but I don't ever want to touch him again. He has these cover pieces that cover up the peg that goes through the knee. So I needed to get those off. So I just heated them up off camera with a blow dryer, and then just slowly and carefully worked it off with the pliers. This is probably not a good idea, but it worked. So it looks like the cover pieces have a peg that goes through the top. It goes through that top part of the knee, and then it just covers up that peg, if that makes any sense. I don't. Hopefully the video explains it better than me trying to explain it does. But it, like I said, it's just overly complicated for no reason. So this is how it went together, and I thought it'd probably be pretty simple to put it back together once I got the knee off, so I could put that piece back on. But once I got those off, I decided to try to pry apart the this connector piece right here that connects the pegs together on either side of the knee. I used this X-Acto knife. That was a bad idea, so I switched to a butter knife. That's less likely to break and hit me in the eye, so that worked out way better. Just make sure you keep this piece hot. Keep the blow dryer going on it every minute or so, just so you don't break anything. So I decided to try to glue the knee piece in. I put glue on one side in that hole, and then I got the knee piece and just tried to glue at least that one side down. I put the glue on either side, but really I should have just done one side and then come back and glue it again. But I got it on there, and then off camera I pushed that connector back across. The pin that connects both sides is really cheap, is the only way I can explain it. It was like already trying to crack, and it was just falling apart when I would push on it. Like even Marvel Legends pins hold up pretty well to like pliers or something, but this one was just falling apart. So I could not get that cap piece to go back on. I think eventually I just sanded it down, and so the cap piece really wouldn't matter. And I kind of figured at this point that this was not going to turn out good. So finally I just sanded it down, and then I started going to put this piece back together. I was pegging through here, and then I pegged the other side, and there it was all back together. I should have just stopped here. This should have been where I ended it and just been good, but the cover pieces weren't lined up with the peg perfectly, and it was kind of bugging me. And so I kept messing with it until I broke the connector there. Like I said, it's just the plastic feels so fragile, and it's so like tight, everything. So this was bound to happen if I kept messing with it, and I just pushed it a little too far and broke it. So I decided to take it completely apart and try to fix that, and it just kept getting worse and worse. So I'm just gonna go ahead and consider this one a loss. I don't think I'm fixing this guy. I looked to see if anybody was selling parts just so I can buy a left knee, but no luck there. Usually there's knockoffs too, but I couldn't find anything that looked close to this. And I honestly don't blame them, because this would be a pain to try to recreate. So I'm just gonna throw this guy on eBay for parts and hope somebody needs a right knee or something. I figured somebody has a broken Cyborg they need parts for, because this guy is very fragile and also very complicated. So I figured somebody's broken this guy and needs parts. So I put him on eBay for like 50 bucks, and I hope somebody bites for that. Accessories are pretty good though, and everything's still together with those. So I mean, I guess if somebody needs accessories for a different Cyborg, this would be a good pickup. But here I am getting mad at him for breaking, and I think that's gonna end it for this series of Justice League Mafex figures. All of them turned out pretty good except for Cyborg. I'm really happy the Batman was so easy to fix, and the Superman, I didn't even know what to expect with him. He looked brand new, so I wasn't very surprised that it was something simple to fix him. But thanks for watching, and I'll update you next week, hopefully next week, on if I sell these guys for anything. I know somebody's already offered me $45 for the Cyborg spoiler, but we'll see if they actually pay that, or if they're just throwing out an offer to see what happens. But thanks for watching, and I'll check y'all in the next video, and keep on keeping on. Bye.